I'm going to be in Napa this weekend. I'll tell you right now, if I don't show up on Monday or text back on Monday, it's because I had a heart attack because I ran on Sunday because I ran a 5K. So we'll see how it goes.
Hello, my friends.
Thank you for joining us for the PEBCAK Podcast, a weekly information security show featuring some all-around good people. It is week 9 of 2025. I'm Chris Louie, and made it back safely after going to the gym with Brian. With me, I have my co-host, the Hot Dad, who refuses to drink any Pepsi product.
So, you did a great job at the gym, I'll give you that. But you're wrong about any Pepsi product, because do you know who owns Rockstar?
PepsiCo.
Yep.
Just really? Do they really own it? Oh, wow.
Yeah. I wish I could have been a part of that acquisition. But yeah, they actually own Rockstar. So there was none in Dallas, or at least in our hotel/prison for the week. I tried to Uber Eats some drinks, and it was like, we can't deliver there. So whatever, because we were stuck in the actual airport. And then...
the drivers can't come in.
Ouch.
That's what I'm saying.
More on that in
you have to check it in your luggage then. Yeah.
What about my luggage?
You got to check in your rock stars in your luggage.
Yeah, I know. Along with my GAT, the Blinky.
Brian says the only rock star that he brings when he travels is himself.
Oh,
That's true.
Oh, man. I'll slip you that 20 later, brother. Thank you for that.
It's like, you know, the difference between Brian and God? God doesn't think he's Brian.
Back to the show.
Dad joke of the week.
Dang, hater.
And we have the returning Glenn Medina, who's still having date nights with his wife in other states.
Who doesn't have date nights with their wives? Are you guys not having date nights with your wives?
Not in other states.
Not in other states.
I mean, how many wives in how many states? I mean...
Oh.
Hey.
$1 million question right there.
It's nice that my wife can travel with me when she can. So,
Indeed.
But yeah, I'm back. Thanks to be back. Good to be back. I actually didn't listen to last week's pod, so...
We totally roasted you, so you better go back.
Did you really?
I don't think we did.
Okay,
Did we?
we'll go. Probably did.
You'll never know unless he listens, Brian.
You guys roast me when I'm on, regardless. So
True.
Yeah. Speaking of Glenn missing episodes, I'm actually caught up now. I pulled the analytics for every single episode. I know how many guests we've had, who's the most frequent guest, which host has missed the most. So in 3 weeks, subscribe. Episode 200, we'll have the grand reveal. We'll do a really special show for 200. We'll
nice.
Hey, boner.
Awesome plan for that.
Yeah.
Do you know what that's from?
I get
What?
Brian. That's what you always say.
It said, hey, boner. It's from, it was George Takei when he used to come on Howard Stern. They had it, like, on repeat for some reason. Or George Takei? How do you say his last name?
George Takei.
George Takei.
Yeah.
Takei.
That guy is not a Trump supporter at all, if you were wondering.
He is not.
He is not.
Definitely not.
No.
He's
pause.
not the profile for a Trump supporter, but yeah. Okay.
Our guest this week is January Fitness Challenge participant, Ben Coral.
Oh.
Ben, how did you get out of having to travel to Texas?
Well, as we were chatting about just a few moments ago, there were so many people there, and the brain trust was so much that the powers that be did not think it would be a great idea to add this brain to the mix as well. It would have just been way too powerful. And there was a couple of, I'll say, egos, if you will. Somebody who calls them...
Quit talking about Brian that way.
People who call themselves like this cloud god that's there, that would have been threatened by my presence. You know, it would have been like having Thor and Loki in the same location at once. And
I'm Thor. You can be Loki. That dude's weird.
You gracefully bowed out to save the universe.
I did.
He's going to have a room big enough for your ego. So that's the reason why.
Oh, wow. So it came down to flipping a coin. And I'm not going to tell you if I won or lost by not having to be there.
All right.
Let's see. We'll catch you next time. Next time you win or lose the coin flip. Combined, we have decades of information security experience in here, not just to educate, but to entertain. We've got 4 awesome stories for this week. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Yes, I'm calling it audible here. It is a programming note for episode 200. We could do another Ask Me Anything. So if there's any questions you're burning to ask us, send them in. We'll answer them on our episode 200. This week, we're going to talk about drugs.
Ooh.
Crafty Russians exploiting Signal.
Booger sugar.
Ooh.
For our third topic, Counterstrike players get phished, and close with Pepsi versus Coke talk. For our first topic, U.S. drug testing firm DISA, is that DISA? DISA?
Mm-hmm.
Says
DISA.
they suffered a data breach affecting up to 3.3 million people. DISA is an outsourced firm that employers use to conduct background checks and drug tests for prospective employees. Any data breach is bad, but a data breach at a company that stores data on possible criminal history and drug use could potentially be disastrous. You can already imagine the blackmail potential and phishing lures that could come from this data breach. In a now deleted posting online, DISA said they paid the ransom to the ransomware group responsible for the data breach to delete the data and not to publish it to their leak site. Whether they keep their word on that is yet to be seen, but so far the data has not been found on their leak site or the dark web. The deleted posting also said that data stolen could include full name, social security number, driver's license number, government ID number, financial account information, and, quote, other data elements, which is no confirmation one way or the other if background check and drug history information was included in the breach. On the plus side, all affected people are offered 1 year of free credit monitoring through Experian.
So fun fact, my government name is Brian Deach, but my full name is Cloud God. Better believe it. You'll find that out in the this leak, by the way.
Fair enough. Yep. And just to be clear, on this DISA, we are talking DISA Global Solutions, which is the U.S. background and screening, not DISA as in the Defense Information Systems Agency as well. But I'll put that disclaimer there for you.
Oh, there's two Ds. Okay, I was a little confused there, Gabe, because I don't have access to the show notes for some reason. So
There you go, Glenn. You're welcome.
thank you.
I'll be honest with you, I've never heard of DISA before until about 3 minutes
I didn't know
before
there
this
was
pod started.
I didn't know there was a second DISA until Ben just mentioned it. Thanks for the clarification, because you're ready to go off.
Fun fact. So I've been employed in California all my life. I've actually never had to do a drug test as a condition of employment. But one time I worked at a startup, and this startup got acquired by a company that was based out of Minnesota. And as part of the M&A, the acquisition, they sent out an email that says, oh, yeah, you're going to have to fill out a new background check, credit background, and you have to pass a drug test. I'm like, all right, fine. I'm clean. I have nothing to fear. And then I remember distinctly, because I got in the office at 6 a.m. Like I worked the early shift. And the head of M&A from the acquiring company came up to me. He's like, oh, yeah, did you see that email about that drug test you have to do? I said, yeah, I saw that. And then he says, oh, yeah, don't worry about that. That doesn't apply to you. Like, you guys don't have to go through it. So feel free to. And then he made the motion of smoking a joint. He's like, feel free to, this weekend. I'm like,
What?
All right, not my thing, but thanks for letting me know.
Yeah. One less thing to worry about, or was that one way of saying, I don't really like this guy, and if I tell him it doesn't apply, maybe we get rid of this joker?
Yeah, well, I think personally, the reason why they didn't drug test us was because there was someone in a high-ranking position at this company that did like to partake, and I think he got that requirement mixed.
So
that's just my feeling.
Doing believe this or not, I used to be a people manager way back in the day. Like I used to actually hire people. It was really weird. But it was at this call center, and we would have like open interviews, and people would drive in. And this one lady came in, and I don't know how to describe her and her husband, but crunchy granola. Does that kind of fit a narrative you guys are familiar with? Hippie, maybe. And anyway, so she was there, and she was just nursing on the interview, which was something I have never experienced at all. And then she flipped out when I told her she had to get drug tested. Like she actually, like I was so desperate for people. I'm like, well, I guess you're just the person. And part of me is like, wait a second, time out. You're freaking out about the efficacy of drug testing for marijuana, but you're also breastfeeding right now.
That's where my mind was right.
I mean, if you're going to think that it's safe, right, then that's the ultimate test. Like, I'm going to give you a contact high through the old boob juice. So I don't even know if that's possible, but.
What did you just say?
Secondary high, Brian.
Contact high. What is it? I don't know. Like, I mean, literally,
secondary.
Not me, the baby, guys.
Contact
Come on,
high.
jeez.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's I don't think the FDA recommends that. I would not be on board to co-sign on that.
No.
What, on boob juice?
No, smoking the
not
doinkers.
doing drugs
While
breastfeeding.
So
okay.
So bringing it back. So yes, we're looking at around 3 million people, which it is around 1% of the U.S. population is affected by this. So whether you've had to have a background or not, there's likely a large amount of people who will be affected by this.
I'd be like this. Like, wait, time out. You're going to give me free credit reporting by the guys who originally lost my identity? Thanks. Like, I don't need it. I'm full. We're good. I don't need seconds.
But, Ben, I was part of, I was part of that Office of Personnel breach that happened at OPM like 10, 20 years ago, 10, 15 years ago.
I think it was like 10 years ago, yeah.
Yeah. Is this just the same thing again?
Yeah.
I mean...
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And if we think about all of the data that was lost there that hasn't shown up anywhere, you can sit here and talk conspiracy theories and was that obtained by a nation-state actor and is being held on until these profiles being created later? What's that information going to be used for?
Oh, my son's identity got stolen. He's got him good credit. It's crazy.
Not true for the OPM people, unfortunately.
It's gonna be Ben. It's gonna be used so that way they can collect unemployment. I mean, Social Security benefits when I'm 130. Right? So.
Make sure they don't check the box for deceased.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. It's like anybody who calls up the bank and wants to make a car payment for me, and the bank's like getting all this information, and I'm like, listen, anybody who calls up and wants to make a payment for me, let them do it. Don't take them through the whole rigmarole of asking for more.
Knock yourself out.
Make my payment for me, please.
Yeah.
This will also be a test of whether or not the data actually gets deleted, because I think the stats from the FBI say more often than not they will not delete the data, and it might show up later, or they might have already resold it. But apparently this company paid to not have their data released, which would have been disastrous if it did. But can you really trust a ransomware group that's extorting you?
Do you guys know where the origin of rigmarole actually comes from?
I do not, Brian.
Do you even know what it means? Because I use it all the time. What does it mean?
It's like deal with all that rigmarole, like deal with all that nonsense BS, like busy work.
All right. So apparently, I mean, you're pretty close. Yeah. It goes from like way back to the early 13th, 14th century. It referred to a long, complex document listing names or statements, often related to legal or governmental matters. So
nonsense.
Yeah, my whole I don't like to jump out of planes anymore. So my new thrill seeking is using words that I don't really know what it means. Like that's how I kind of have my days go. Like I don't know, it sounds pretty ubiquitous to me.
Yeah.
And
Boulder Dash.
Yeah, right.
but I like the ubiquitous statement that was made of what Chris was just talking about. Is the statement that they tie it all back together. But they took measures to dissuade the threat actors from publicly releasing any acquired data and to provide confirmation of the deletion of the data. All that to say, we believe they paid the ransom where they guaranteed to remove the data. But I like the way they phrased it of took measures to dissuade the threat actors.
It's better than saying we paid a bribe.
I like. Did you get on a Teams call and like watch them delete it? But like, I think the only way I would I would never trust that they would delete it. Like, even if you lit the tower like on fire with thermite, I'd still be like, there's a copy somewhere else. Like,
That's the thing. Even if I'm on you're watching me do it. You're watching me tear this piece of paper in front of you up, but I made 6 copies of it that's over in the other room that you don't see right now. Come on.
yeah.
That's what they do. They have like fake deletion screens. They'll have like a fake Dropbox page and say, look, I'm deleting it. And it's just a fake Dropbox page.
Yeah.
So there are no guarantees. Like, what's that saying? It's like once it's on the internet, it's on the internet forever.
Yeah.
There's no.
It's in the cloud. It's in the cloud.
But there
I
weird statistics that are out there of if you pay a ransom, you are now marked as somebody who has paid a ransom in the past, and you will now be added to a special list, and you will now be targeted even more. And those who have paid a ransom have a 70% chance of being attacked or re-ransomed again.
Paid again. Oh, that's crazy.
They know you'll pay.
They know you'll pay.
Oopsie. Yeah. Yeah, I tell you what, there's no picture out there that's going to be worth me paying any amount of money for. Just like, it's lost. Oh, well.
See, that's what happens when you take your wife with you from state to state and you let her travel. You're not worried about her seeing any pictures. I get it.
No secrets here, Ben.
See, that is wise.
9 times out of 10, she's in the picture with me.
It's that 10th time you gotta hide. I get it.
Oh, the 10th time is sitting there taking a picture with you, Chris and Brian. So,
by the way, real quick, speaking of pictures, Chris, you're on my poop list with your picture of me on LinkedIn with Grok running from I need to see the prompt. I think you typed in, please post a picture of chubby Brian Deach running from a Tesla. Thanks for that, by the way.
You're welcome. Dan Hume actually came up to me. He's like, I could do you one better. I could help you do the face swap next time, so you actually put Brian's face on it.
Tell Dan he's dead to me if he does that.
Yeah, that's funny. I remember when Beyonce did the halftime show at the Super Bowl. This is maybe 8 years ago or so.
I still have that photo.
Someone freeze framed it. Like, she's making a really ugly face, and then like her lawyers tried to get that thing taken down. I think they did something to try to abuse the copyright system. They copywrote that picture, then sent everyone DMCA takedown notices, and tried to scrub that image from the internet, which had the Streisand effect of putting even more attention to it.
Yeah, now it's infamous. Now people really want it.
There's one like that, and then AOC as well. And so, like, I have a folder for it that I just routinely post on X. I was told to share this every once in a while.
And you get a call from their lawyer, takedown.
Yeah, right. They can contact X before they call me.
For our second topic, Russian threat actors are abusing the link device feature in Signal to try and trick victims into linking their Signal accounts to a device the attackers control.
Oh shit, I did
Signal
that.
Signal uses QR codes to enroll new devices to sync all of your messages between devices, but famously does not restore messages on old devices to new devices, but it would allow an attacker to eavesdrop on all future communications through Signal. An astute Signal user can check which devices are linked to their account and remove any suspicious devices. The lure to get people to enroll the rogue device is by joining a Telegram channel promising something and getting the victim to scan the QR code to enroll the device. It's a simple trick that does not require a full compromise of the target's device to monitor their secure communications.
I don't know anyone dumb enough to fall for that on Signal. Like, literally everyone that's on Signal, like, or if I've ever talked to them, like, I don't know, that seems like a lot of work. I'm like, okay. And they're hanging out on WhatsApp. So
yeah,
I can see people falling victim to WhatsApp maybe, but not Signal.
But that's the thing. It's also getting you into another application, in this case, Telegram, and getting you to click or scan a QR code from there as well. So it's right back to that social engineering and a-hole trust me. But to your point, those that are on the platform are likely more privacy and security minded or conscious, and have that air of not trusting.
Bro, so I probably shouldn't name it, but it was a podcast guest recently said they hired some new executive assistant, like first job out of high school, and first day she ends up like texting or emailing or something to the CEO like, did you get the $2,000 in gift cards I ordered for you? Yeah, and she paid with it with her own credit card.
No.
Oh no.
Yes,
making a good first impression.
Yeah,
Someone needs to redo their Fish Me training.
well, she was day one, she didn't even have a chance to do it. I think she's still getting enrolled.
Wow.
Oh man.
Yeah,
That was highly targeted, I would say then.
Yeah.
Or maybe just lucky.
Opportunistic, yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Unless this
the
person
glass
was
is
like
how
posting
full.
on LinkedIn, right? If you say, hey, I'm my first day in the office, and they take a selfie of themselves, maybe that's how they were targeted.
Yeah.
I was going to say the glass is half full. I mean, what person getting out of college with their first job that's an EA, or maybe in college, that actually has $2,000 to spend? That's kind of cool. Hopefully it didn't wipe her out, though.
I know. Maybe they didn't. It was just on a...
I'm 46, it would wipe me out
It's
clean. I wouldn't be able to make my house payment.
Unfortunate truth for a lot of people.
Yeah. Do you know anyone on Signal that is not in tech? Like, is your grandma rocking Signal, guys?
My grandmas are dead, so thank you for reminding me of that.
Wow.
Yeah, it makes it a little tough.
So I will say that all my kids who are both in college right now have started to migrate to Signal with their friend groups as well because of all the bad publicity and things that are out there. So I'm going to say that Signal is starting to pick up. Now, both of my kids are in IT programs, so maybe that keeps with the IT or the tech as well.
Yeah. When are you guys going to start posting stories on Signal? Apparently that's a thing.
I'm not a stories person. Going through my contacts now, I'm like, yeah, I mean, most of the people are in tech. There's some people that are, not in tech. I wouldn't say 100%. I'd say the majority is, though.
Yeah. But that's the thing. As I go through my address book as well, most of the people in my address book are in tech.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the intention of this campaign, at least at first, was Russian intelligence agencies targeting people in the Ukrainian army. Because I don't know if Ukraine has chosen Signal as their communications method of choice. They're obviously not going to use Telegram because that's Pavel Durov, and they might be all using Signal. So they're trying to recruit these army people, these soldiers, to enroll their devices, and maybe they're hoping to get information on troop movements or anything that could be useful in their war against Ukraine.
So fun fact, as I deviate from our topic here, I posted on LinkedIn the other day, like something with turmeric. Be honest with you, I don't even know what that is, but I was looking up something that I thought would be funny, and now I keep getting solicitations on turmeric into my emails. So either
ads.
my email's compromised or LinkedIn is. I have no idea.
Both.
No, I think I went to ChatGPT. I asked that, what's something that yoga pant wearing, coconut drinking water idiot would do, right? And so it's like turmeric came up.
I will tell you, it's incredibly, incredibly hard to get out of carpet if you spill it on carpet, and I'll just say I know that one from personal experience.
Turmeric?
What is
Really?
Turmeric. It's used to dye stuff, actually. That's why it's really hard to get out of carpet.
Turmeric is like a root plant. It's like a ginger, right? So
It is, yeah. So there's health benefits to it, but it's also used to dye things, which is how I know it's really hard to get out of carpet.
Mm.
I mean,
Did you try using a vacuum cleaner?
It was a drink, a turmeric-based drink, so there's no vacuuming that out.
No, Chris is just over there lapping it like a dog. Come on, guys. Oh my gosh.
Exactly.
Speaking of turmeric and carpets, we're on to topic number 3.
All right. Brian wants us to move on. He's tired of QR code phishing, which is why we're
feel
going
like
to do yet another story about QR code phishing.
You do all the segues. I was just trying to help you out, man.
Thank you, Brian.
You're welcome, sir.
On the topic of malicious QR codes, a new phishing campaign is using the online streams of popular Counterstrike players and rebroadcasting them under hacked YouTube accounts and displaying malicious QR codes. The QR codes promise free Counterstrike skins or links to crypto scams, which promise to return double the amount of cryptocurrency to whatever you send the attacker to the attacker-controlled wallet. The scammers take pre-recorded footage of famous Counter-Strike players and rebroadcast it, pretending it's live footage from a popular Counter-Strike tournament, and then flashing up the malicious QR codes. The intent of the campaign is to steal cryptocurrency or phish the credentials for players' Steam accounts to steal their valuable items and skins.
Fun fact, Chris actually got scammed by this because he was watching one of those streams. That's what he does in his spare time. If he's not gaming, he's watching gamers.
Well, it's too good to be true, Brian. It's too good to be true.
See,
Yeah,
and
it usually is.
I thought Chris came about this because he got scammed, and because he got scammed, he's now the scammer trying to get everybody else out there. And that's the thing. It's one thing scanning these QR codes of, too good to be true. But this whole thing of examples, put in your Bitcoin address. Why in the world would you do that? And why would you scan the QR code? But think about this of one thing to offer the 0.1 Bitcoin and you get back 0.2. But then their examples even show 5 Bitcoins or 25 Bitcoins. Who's got 25 Bitcoins and is gullible enough to
think they'll get 50 back?
To think they're going to get 50 back. I mean, what's it currently trading at today?
A burger today for $2 tomorrow. Is that what it is?
So it's down a little bit. I think it's down to like 83,000.
Yeah,
it's taken a hit recently.
Yes. So, that's
Yeah.
So it's
like going to the dentist and him asking you to take your pants off, right? There's just something off about this scenario.
It was just like that guy Ilya Lichtenstein. He was smart enough to steal like billions of dollars in bitcoins, but dumb enough to use it to buy Walmart gift cards and send crap to his house. Like, smart on the one hand, not so bright on the other.
Street smarts weren't there. But
that's a real thing. Street smarts, book smarts. I got neither.
That whole movie, Catch Me If You Can, White Collar Crime, the sitcom White Collar came out based on that as well, of using those street smarts along with being smart and con artist and all of that. But this is what I try to express to my parents, to my kids, and all of this of if something is marked as free, generally you are the product. It's free.
Yeah, that's what we always say on the show.
So it's what your personal information is likely what you're giving away. And whether you're dropping your business card in at a coffee shop for that $3 cup of coffee, you just gave away your business contact information. And now you're going to complain to IT that you're getting these spam messages or these unsolicited messages from the coffee shop. And you have no idea why they just sold your information to 20 other companies as well. So if it's free, you are the product.
I think you're giving an awful lot of credit to the coffee shops. Those people, I don't know that they're monetizing my contact information.
Just adding to the mailing list.
All right. So the coffee shop puts it on the mailing list. They don't have the security. Glenn's breaking into them. Glenn's stealing them, and Glenn's selling the list. How else is he taking?
That's right.
How else is he taking all these trips to all these different states with his spouse?
Powered by an enterprise browser.
Right. Southwest. What are you talking about? Southwest Companion Pass, Ben. Don't hate the player, hate the game. Come on.
Oh.
Yeah, that goes into another thing about malicious QR codes. That's definitely been something that's been coming up more often now. I think it's just because people don't want to type or URLs are really long, so we've sort of learned to trust QR codes. And then, especially during the pandemic when people stopped using paper menus, and it's just you have this blind trust to scan QR codes.
And that's crazy.
The digital menu. Oh,
yeah. I was going to say, because every restaurant I go to that has the QR codes for their menu has a sticker on top for the new QR code for their menu. So you're looking down there and you're like, is this legit?
Is it a test?
Exactly. Is it a test?
Yeah.
I mean, I for one love the QR code for menus because like nothing's better than just spending more time on your phone at dinner.
Yep. Right.
Yeah. I always ask for a menu. I'm like, no, you can give me a hard copy.
Well, give me the menu and I can read it. If I have to read it on my phone, I have to put my eyeballs back on. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Dude, in low light, I see nothing. I got it.
Then you use your phone anyway as a flashlight, right?
I do, man. It's embarrassing.
Put your readers on.
Yes.
I'm to the point
use
where
the
I order
magnifier.
stuff because I don't want to bust out the phone. And so, like, we went to this place called True Food. And I was like, yeah. So we sit down and I was like, I can't even read the menu. I don't want to bust out my phone. So the guy's coming up. He's like, all right. I was like, yeah, let's get a ribeye. He's like, I'm ordering stuff that's not even on the menu. And I was like, he's like, oh, I have ribeye. I was like, okay, well, can I just get a burger then? He's like, the meatloaf burger or the veggie burger? I'm like, oh my God, what the hell's going on here? What do you guys have that's normal?
Oh, an American burger, please.
Yeah. Oh, no, we don't got that. Yeah.
This is why Brian
I did like a chicken Caesar salad.
See, there you go. Just what are your specials of the day, and give me one of those. And, that's why Brian is always. I want chicken nuggets. Just give me the chicken nuggets.
Chicken tendies,
Nuggets
baby.
and French fries.
Yeah.
You're kidding.
I was like, Brian and I were at a work conference this week, and at the beginning of several of these presentations, like, scan this QR code, enter your questions here. I said, we work at a security company. Asking people to blindly trust QR codes is against everything we stand for.
Yes. And I get it.
Never mind.
See, I do the same thing because at the end of every one of my presentations, I have a QR code. Hey, anybody want to connect with me? And a lot of these are external that I give. Here's my QR code to connect with me on LinkedIn. Trust me. Believe me.
What you should do is either QR code or like an insanely long URL.
Just have people type it in really one character at a time.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, that's something I would do. Like, if I was giving a presentation, I'd do some kind of phishing test just to mess with people.
Yeah.
See? Gotcha.
Your survey responses from that would probably be less than desirable.
Less than stellar. Very true. Very true. Yep, moral of the story, don't scan weird QR codes. And if something's too good to be true, it probably is. And I even remember back when Twitter was Twitter, before it was X and Elon bought it, there's some kid, I think he was a kid, that hacked into many famous people's accounts. It was like Barack Obama and Bill Gates and Tim Apple. And he did that thing. He's like, hey, I'm feeling super generous. Send me all your Bitcoin and I'll return you 2x back. So like that's a tale as old as time. And it amazes me that people still fall for that.
Well, it's back to the story you gave with the EA of buying gift cards. Of who would actually think that would be a way of doing anything? What's the story behind that? Of thinking that's a legitimate request.
It must have been pretty convincing. I'm at a conference. I need Starbucks gift cards stat.
It's like, back to your point, smart enough to graduate college, get a good paying job, not good enough to spot a scam when it's clearly a scam. Yes. For our last topic, and it'll be a rotating topic every week, this week we're going to talk about Coke versus Pepsi. Now, Costco takes in more than $1 billion in revenue each year in just their food court alone. And this week, they made the big shift from Pepsi to Coke. So Costco is officially serving Coke at their food courts now.
I feel bad for Pepsi, Jesus.
When we were together this past week, Brian ordered a Diet Coke from a restaurant we were at. And when asked if Diet Pepsi was okay, he just said, I'd rather have water.
See, but that's the thing. We all grew up in the age that they had the Pepsi challenge that was going at the malls. And you go there, they give you the 2 cups, and can you discern the Coke from the Pepsi? And yes, it's easy to discern the difference. So, and I grew up in a household that was all Coke, no Pepsi. And so I was always, I prefer the Coke. Now Pepsi is...
We know you like the booger sugar.
But clear Coke also, came out around the same time frame, and it was going to be clear but taste the same. No.
Oh, that was Pepsi. It was Pepsi Clear.
Pepsi Clear?
It was Pepsi
Oh.
Clear,
Yeah.
In the 90s.
Oh, that was bad.
They claim that they changed the recipe after that, too, for regular old Pepsi.
Oh. It was just bad.
Yeah, so this is somewhat controversial topic, but if I'm going to have a Diet Coke versus Diet Pepsi, I want Diet Coke. But if I'm going to have a sugar Coke or sugar Pepsi, I want the Pepsi. That is like crack to me. I will drink 64 ounces.
That makes no sense whatsoever. What the heck is that?
Whatever. No. Bo Burnham has a great joke on this. I've used it before, but I don't think Ben has heard it. And Chris, you'll have to beep it out a little bit. But Coke and Pepsi is kind of like dicks and vaginas. I strongly prefer one over the other, but my dad says they taste the same.
I'd have to bleep that whole thing out. I don't know how much. It'd just be beep my dad beep. Like,
No. You can like
there's more beeping
Coke and
than
Pepsi.
actual words.
No. Coke and Pepsi are like beep and beep. I strongly prefer one over the other, but my dad says they taste the same. So like that's easy.
You can just...
Not my joke. I wish it was mine.
He censored himself. You can cut that whole 30 seconds out and just do the second.
I know.
Leave it to their imagination. That is a well crafted joke, though. You gotta give respect to Bo on that one.
A+ joke.
Yeah.
So for those of you that don't know, I asked Grok to give me the top 10 brands for each of them because you might not know that Coke owns the Coca-Cola and Pepsi. They both own a lot of properties. So for Coca-Cola, they own Coke, Sprite, Fanta, Minute Maid, so the juice maker, Dasani, that's their bottled water,
10%
Powerade,
juice,
their sports drink. Simply, I didn't know Coke owned Simply. I thought Simply was a Safeway brand for some reason, but yeah, apparently Simply is a Coke brand. Smart Water, Costa Coffee, never heard of that one, and then Vitamin Water of 50 Cent fame.
50 Cent.
They own that as well.
Yeah.
You've never heard of Costa Coffee?
I've never heard of Costa Coffee.
Maybe that's more a Europe thing then. All right.
Could be.
Costa Coffee?
Dude,
They are a major player in the coffee market. Never heard of them.
Now, everyone take what you just heard and then look at the colossal win Pepsi actually has of the goods underneath their belt because they get the
Dr.
dub
Pepper's
for...
not owned by anyone.
No, it's Keurig.
Dr. Pepper Snapple.
Dr. Pepper's by itself?
Yes.
No, Dr. Pepper and Keurig are the same company.
Correct.
Keurig and Snapple.
Keurig purchased Dr. Pepper, I think, in like 20, merged with Snapple and whatnot back in 2017, 2018.
Yeah.
Snapple used to have the best facts. I'll tell you what.
I like those. The ones under the cap.
Yeah, and you press the cap up and sit in class and just pop it until
click.
You pop it all day.
Until the teacher gets on you. Yes.
Great job.
Fun fact, those glass bottles with the lid on and empty, you can chuck them like into the air and they will bounce. You take the lid off, it shatters every single time. We did this in a kindergarten playground.
They shattered Snapple bottles in a kindergarten playground. It's all
it's for science.
Really, actually, a true story.
Well, I hope you cleaned it up, Brian.
No, we most certainly did not.
Unsolved crime.
I was not a good person.
Somebody's solving a crime right
Clearly.
now. What's the statute of limitations?
Karma's coming back.
I think I'm okay. Yeah.
Principal in Globe, Arizona was like, I knew it.
Yeah, it was messed up. But what are you going to do?
Clean it up.
We're dumb.
So.
I had no moral center whatsoever. Remember the best one was, I think, Lake Tahoe was west of Los Angeles. And I was like, BS. And then I looked on a map. And certainly it is. Who knew?
It is, because of the curvature of the
Lake
earth.
is west. Oh, yeah.
I was like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, Snapple. And then, of course, it was right.
Yeah. All right. So these are the top 10 brands owned by PepsiCo.
Yep.
So obviously Pepsi,
W.
Mountain Dew,
W.
Gatorade, which is the
W.
counter the Powerade,
Yeah.
Lay's potato chips,
Kind of mid.
Doritos potato chips,
Eat them by the ton.
Cheetos potato chips,
Got Cheeto fingers right now.
Tropicana, I guess that's the
10%
counter
juice.
Minute Maid,
Orange juice, yeah.
Quaker Oats. I did not know Quaker Oats was owned by PepsiCo.
Hey, that's the only way I do my overnight oats.
Yeah, Aquafina, again,
Best
counter
water ever.
Coke's Dasani.
He's trying to get sponsored over here.
All right. So I have a question for you all now.
Wait, we have one more, then you can ask the question.
You did Fritos. That was it.
I had Fritos.
Oh, I must have been
That's it.
talking too much. But, well, then you can't have chili without it. All right, go. What's your question?
All right. So you talked about Keurig Dr. Pepper. What cola brand do they own?
RC.
RC.
Ah, nice. RC Cola. Yes. or
Thought you were
or as
gonna
they
stump
used
us.
to say, Flat Coke.
Flat
Bro,
Coke, yeah.
I had
RC
an
Cola.
RC Cola, like, in the last year. That thing slaps like domestic violence. Like, it was good. I was into it.
Oh.
I cannot co-sign on that joke, even though I just laughed out loud at that one. But
Yeah.
you'll actually notice that it's kind of interesting. Coca-Cola, top 10 brands, all beverages in one form or the other. But Pepsi, I think half of their top brands are all snack foods. I think that's Pepsi is. I personally think they've conceded the beverage wars, the Coke wars, and they diversified into snacks because Coke owns like the top, like I think it's Coke, Diet Coke, and Coke Zero, like the three top selling beverage brands, and Pepsi might be like a distant fourth. So I think Pepsi's given up on the cola wars and they're just focused on snack foods now.
I wonder if we go down far enough down the rabbit hole if we find out that Pepsi also owns like farmland that's just weed, because these are like all great drinks of gaming people and weed people.
They're invested in cannabis companies.
Yeah. And then what's the other one that you like? It's in Afghanistan.
What, heroin?
Yeah, the heroin one. Yeah, what's that?
Poppies?
Seeds? Yeah,
The poppy
Like-
seeds.
Not poppy seeds, poppy plants.
poppy plants.
They
Really?
Use the it's one of the base ingredients for black
Drug
heroin.
expert, everyone.
Black-
Now we know. Now we know why he lives in
tar,
California.
yeah.
Doesn't need to get tested.
And now back to that first story.
And now you know.
Yeah, you know.
Opiates. Let's say opiates in general.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty messed up situation over there, but what you gonna do?
Honestly, if I had to work for either one of these companies, I'm going to Pepsi. They got more discounts of stuff that I would actually consume if I was trying to kill myself.
That's if you
and then
that's if
Rockstar.
you get discounts. That's if you get
Yeah.
discounts, right?
I mean, he's
Yeah, how's Rockstar not on there? How's that not top 10?
It's not, I guess it's not top 10. Yeah, Rockstar's not top 10. Maybe it's one of their
you
mid
gotta
brands.
buy more.
I think they own Ghost drinks too.
They probably do. I mean, each of these probably have like hundreds of brands under them. I just asked for the top
Yeah.
10. Because I think Frito-Lay owns most of these, like Fritos, Lay's, Doritos. Like, it's all under the Frito-Lay brand, which apparently is owned by PepsiCo.
There used to be a joke about Free-to-Lay, but I'll leave it out right now. Yeah, see,
I mean, my personal
Rockstar came up
favorite-
under beverages.
My personal favorite is Coke Zero. Like, when Coke Zero came
yeah,
out,
that's right.
people are saying, isn't that just the same as Diet Coke? Like, no. Like, when Coke says we changed the formula, it's still zero sugar. Well, I guess it's called Coke Zero Sugar now. That wasn't just a marketing thing. I could tell the difference between Coke, Diet Coke, Coke Zero, Pepsi, Diet Pepsi.
Yep.
I could tell the difference between all five of them.
Agreed.
So, Pepsi also owns Captain Crunch. That's brings me back.
A way
They also
to
own-
tear up the roof of your mouth by eating.
Destroys the roof of your mouth. Yeah.
Oh, man, it's so good. Well, yeah, I loved it. And then they also own Rice-A-Roni, the San Francisco treat. Beep, beep. You guys remember that?
Ding, ding. Yeah. The jingle.
Got a jingle on my jingle.
All right, we'll go down the
This-
line.
Get the hell out of here. What the heck?
So we know Brian prefers Diet Coke, but regular Pepsi.
Yeah.
What about you, Ben? You said you were a Coke
Yeah.
He's
Coke
a-
household.
Coke Zero or Coke Zero
Coke
Cherry.
Zero.
No, this is what he does. He
What?
says, "Hey, hon, grab me a sody." That's what he actually says.
Sody. A pop. It's a pop.
Pop.
I can't stand a pop. No.
All right, and Glenn about to get kicked out of his room. Coke or Pepsi?
Dr. Pepper.
Dr.
Really?
Pepper.
Carbonated
All right.
prune juice. Let's go.
Yeah, Diet Dr. Pepper with the what do you call that? The spiced rum. It's good.
Ah,
There
you
you
have
go.
to turn me on to that. I had a whiskey sour once. It was pretty good. I don't know
Oh,
if
that's
there was
good
Dr.
too.
Pepper in
Yeah.
it, but
There is no Dr. Pepper in a whiskey sour.
all right.
There is when Brian has it.
They're like, oh, there's some leftover stuff at the bar. We'll just mix it all together and tell them it's a whiskey sour.
They hand me the cement mixer. They're like, here you go, buddy.
Yeah.
So we'll see if it was the right move for Costco to switch. I mean, I personally, because when I get the Costco hot dog and soda combo, I always get the Diet Pepsi, but I would have preferred a Diet Coke or a Coke Zero.
Well, I can only imagine it probably cost them less. Like Coke bought their way into that, so that way it
Yeah.
actually costs less for them to serve than Pepsi.
That
We
probably,
make
I
1
mean, that's
cent
the only
per
way
day per warehouse. Like,
And they probably had
displace
like
the incumbent.
they probably had Coke buy all their cups too, so that way it didn't cost them anything.
But
Yeah, they
So
get cost neutral
maybe-
for them.
maybe Costco employees lobbied together and they're like, we are tired of this. I'm tired of this, Grandpa. Well, that's too damn bad. And then they're like, next thing you know, they won. We go on strike and let's get us Coke. And then they got Coke and they're just like, no, we meant the other kind of Coke.
The original ingredient in
Yeah.
Coca-Cola.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
We want original Coke. All right. Well, we continue to get great comments about our dad joke of the week.
Dad joke of the week.
This week, our guest, Ben, is up.
all right, guys. What
Go.
What do you call a snake that's exactly 3.14 meters long?
A pie snake.
Pie snake.
A python.
You guys are so dumb. I did not get that.
Nice.
Now, does it just end at 3.14 or does it keep going
Goes on forever.
with a python?
I mean, it's in your
Has to be,
nightmares,
right?
so it's a never-ending story.
I don't like snakes
Never-ending
at
snake.
all. I like
But
if you have a
little bit.
snake, I'm gonna kill it, even if it's in like a arboretum, whatever they call it. It's dead. Like I'm gonna,
Terrarium.
yeah, I'm gonna light the whole house on fire.
If it's
No,
an
thank you.
arboretum, go ahead and kill it. If it's a terrarium, let that thing go. But come on.
Like I said, I like to use words I don't know what the meaning is, so it's I heard the same thing. But yeah, like,
You know,
no, thank you.
that's one of the two things Brian will not mess with.
Yeah,
Words and
And then
snakes.
spiders. And
Yeah.
spiders. Don't forget spiders.
yeah. I'll send
Alright,
it
do
to
you
you in a
wanna-
text there, Ben.
Do you want to do your backup joke, Ben?
Oh, absolutely. So, talked about a little bit earlier, we talked on Marvel. So for the Marvel fans that are out there, did you hear that Hulk has recently started recycling?
Hulk
Yeah.
smash.
Okay.
Yeah, really. He's going all green.
All right.
Oh, wah, wah, wah. That's a good one. I'll give
That
you
one.
that one.
That's a
I'll
true
give you
dad
that.
joke there, yeah.
Yeah.
At least he came in with something that he didn't find on ChatGPT. Good job.
Yeah.
Or
All
I was
original.
waiting for Brian to say was Hulk smash or something like that. I was giving him more credit.
And he did. And he did.
All right, to wrap things up, your drug test results might be public soon. Beware of signal QR code phishing. There are no free skins in Counterstrike, and Coke Zero for life. That's all we have for this week. We hope you enjoyed this week's episode. You can find us on LinkedIn. Links will be in the description. Follow us on Instagram at PEBCAK Podcast. Thank you to our listeners and subscribers. Rate us 5 stars in the iTunes Store and Spotify, and left us a review. We appreciate you all spreading the word to help grow the show. The best way to find us is to search for the PEBCAK Podcast on your favorite podcast listening app. My co-host Brian Deach and Glenn Medina, and our guest Ben Coral, I'm Chris Louie. Thanks for listening. We'll see you all next weekend. As always, have a nice day.
Bye, Felicia.
bye, diabetes.
Issues. We have issues.
And stop.
Stop. Stop. Stop. Are we hitting stop?
Have a nice day.